It looks like we are live. Give me just 1 second just to verify. It says live. So welcome Facebook followers. I am doing this video for you on Facebook for today, and then I'm just trying out a couple different things. So I'm going to record live on Facebook, and then I'm going to upload immediately following this straight to YouTube to see what ends up happening, because things are just, they're weird all over the place right now. Let me just double check. I want to make sure I have comments. Let me see chat. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. There we go. Okay, so I went live just a little bit early. Starting to do that now because things at times don't necessarily work the way that they should. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some relevant information. Just running a social experiment right now just to see what ends up happening. So if you are joining me live, come on in and say hi so I can see that chat is working on both ends. It's giving you guys a little bit of extra time. So I'm going to try to do that from now on. So for example, I go live at 2 Pacific, 4 Central, 5 Eastern time on Thursdays. So I'm going to go live a little bit early just to prevent any issues from happening so that I can kind of quickly recover and bring that back up. I'm interested. I see that there's people there, but I'm not seeing comments. Hi Pam, got your comment. So I think Facebook's just got a really large lag in there. So come on in, say hi so I can see you. Number one, to save a copy of this video, Facebook, you just need to click the share button. Does a quick copy paste from my Facebook page to your Facebook page. Just make sure that you upload that within 30 days. Otherwise, it is gone. And then you'll have to go over to YouTube and find the tutorial and then upload it again. So that's just something that Facebook has. So I am going to a couple other things too. Private group is still available. If you've been contemplating joining, please do so at the website. I have linked it below. Let's see, can I do it this way? Because I see it on my streaming software and I can't pin it. So let me try it here. If we can get it to stick. It's been a while since I've just been Facebook only. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. There's that. It's weird. It did it by itself. So there we go. I don't know. Facebook's just doing its own thing. So turn notifications on. Make sure you have liked and followed this page. Then you will get notified whenever I go live. Like you guys are probably getting notified live now. What else? Private group, I talked about. This wreath I don't have listed in my shop. It always goes in my website first before it goes over to Etsy. And the prices are better on the website than on Etsy, just in case you guys are wondering. Also, 50% off all remaining Halloween decor because I am discontinuing my Halloween line. So there are a few things left. They're going pretty quick, which is good. Which means people are getting a really great deal. So there's still a few things left if you want to check that out. KatsCreationsNMore.com, click Halloween, and then you'll be able to see all the things. On the website, it doesn't show the sales price until you add it to your cart, and then it takes the discount. So it's 50% off. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. I thought I had done this on YouTube, but I haven't. So we're going to take a gander at this today. When I posted it today, I said, do you want to make a wreath or would you rather make the tree? I think overwhelmingly you guys all picked tree, so that's what we're making today. We're using the Norfolk Pine, and I will post it in the comments once I know exactly how much of it I've used, so that you guys can go ahead and order it from Amazon if you like. Anything else I missed? If you guys have questions, post it in the chat so I can answer, and let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, we're doing the Norfolk Pine, which is everybody's favorite. We got the exposure to it, I want to say Tuesday. So this is your Norfolk Pine, which they're actually all wrapped together. There's about 7 picks individually in here that you can break down. So this is what we're using. I was like, could we technically just throw these in and overlap them? Yeah, but you guys know me. I like it when we take the time and we layer it correctly. So I am going to be starting mine on row 10 because, so here's the longest pieces of my Norfolk Pine. So if I start these in here, I want them to end at 24 inches. I don't want it to go any longer than 24 because then it looks funky on a door. So when I did that, if I came way down here, it'd be closer to like, what would it be? I'm thinking it's 28 to 30 inches. That's too long for me. So we're going to bring them up here. I'm going to show you how to break down your picks. Then we're going to go ahead and wire them in. I've never done it like this on the Unique in the Creek tree board or triangle board. So we're going to kind of figure that out together. So starting on row 10, I have on the back done every single set of holes, plus I've put pipe cleaners or zip ties in between. So for example, they're done here, and then I've also come back in and did the share holes. And then I'm skipping row 9, and then we're going to do the same thing for row 8. I'm not really sure about this one the closer we get to the top. However, before I get too far along, I did measure this on my door just to kind of see. I don't like it to hang right at the top because it hangs too low on the door for me. So somewhere in between like row 4, row 5 is a really good opportunity to go ahead and put in our cord. Or you can do a zip tie. I'm going to try to do a cord. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I already put a lot of stuff in that hole. So we're going to try to go ahead and do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tape off my ends, because they won't want to go in the hole without fraying. So I'm going to tape this up so we can get it in really easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and do it right in here, row 5. So I want to come down 1, going down 1, and then up the other is how I'm doing this, because I want to tie it from the inside so that it hangs down here, but it ties on the inside. Okay, so wherever you want to cut it, this is where I've learned a nice little valuable tip, is go ahead and put your tape on your cord where you want to trim. And I'm just going to spin it so it'll roll that up really quick. And then I'm going to cut right there. This keeps my cord from untwisting, and then it's all ready to go for the next one. I'm going to come in here real quick and do a simple right over left, left over right. Call it a square knot. Just like that. When I go to pull the cord in the back, it is a smooth finish there. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be happy with that, or do I want it lower? I think I want it a little bit lower. So I'm going to tie it a little bit tighter in there. Pull this back. Yes, because I want it to stay between row 4 and 5. So cord is added There you go. Hi, Marisol. Hi, Judy. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you get your pine picks like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to start at the bottom and you're going to separate your paper. Okay, so it's going to be just like this. And then you have this one. I find that just taking my cutters and cutting this at the bottom and grabbing the two stems that are here, I can separate what's there, remove the rest of my paper because I don't want brown paper on here. And so you get 1, 2, 3 long ones. There's 4. So 3 short and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you get 7 picks. 7 for each branch, okay? And then I don't need the wires, so I'm just going to take these all the way down to the end because these are simply going to get zip tied right inside the piece. That one's already done. That one's done. That one's done. So I'm saving the short ones for the top, the longer pieces for the bottom. I've already got, like I said, my board loaded on row 10. So I'm going to take 2 of these and I'm going to put those right inside. Go ahead and get that down nice and tight. Now I'm going to use the shared hole for 2 more. Just slide that right in. It's going to pack in there pretty tight. So now I'm doing shared hole. Good. Okay. Doesn't like to share the hole. Okay, there's that one. My whole goal is cover the board. So just like that, I don't want to see any transparency to the board. So I do have more of these already pre-cut. So I'm just going to take these right on in. I'm going to do the 2 in the middle because the shared hole, it doesn't like to cinch down really well. So it's going to give it a feathered edge at the bottom. So right in here, you can do side by side. You could push them up and over. Grab another 2. Go ahead and leave that right inside. And the nice thing about this is it gives a really nice look. It has a really nice feel. So people are already loving the way this product feels. So I'm trying to keep them all fairly even. I don't want to layer too much because then it starts to get really fat as we go up, which is why I'm going to be skipping some holes. Otherwise it would be really thick. And I'm just doing mine side by side, like so. And it's nice because these are all wired, so you can position them however you would like. Hi, Karen. Right up the center again. I'll also give you some options for how you would like to decorate. That's going to be entirely up to you as well. I do make these every year with real greenery, real pine greenery, but I use, I think it's 5 different types of greenery in them. If you want the actual, like, it's real. You know, it smells nice. It's got that pine fragrance. Although you could technically do this one and just add your scent sticks to it. So you can see that once your board's loaded, it goes pretty quick. So I'm taking the longest pieces out of each of those picks. So you'll get 2 for every one. Okay. Just cinching them on. Two more to finish this one up. I'm going to cut the wire off because we don't need the wire. We can just work with the little ends here. And last 2. Okay. So as you can see, it is very thick. And remember, each additional row that we bring in is just going to lay flat on top. So I skipped a row again, but did every hole. I'm not really sure about here. I held off, but then I went and did every single row from here on up. So if you can tell, like, there's no point in me doing it this way because that's a lot of excess greenery you're wasting. So I'm taking it up again. This is now row 8, side by side, so we get good coverage. There's that one. Go right to the center. And now these are overlapping on the branches below. But because we have the greenery up here, it's also filling in color-wise. If you were going to add lights, I would add the lights before and not wait until after. It's just easier because you can run your lights up this way and then just leave some gap so that you can kind of bring them forward. So as you can see, it's covering that really well, even though there's a gap. Okay. I think I need some more pieces because I've like maxed out all my longs. So again, when you get down to the last one, just separate. Take that off. Gotta trim those off. Okay. Try to pull that off. And we should have a short. Yep, 2 shorts. I just throw the shorts up at the top. We'll go ahead and clip this off since we don't need that. And it's interesting because I tried to find some of these online, and the only ones I see right now are just the decomush trees. I don't see anyone making these with artificial greenery. So there's 2 here. Which, if we're working on collections and you want this to match the swag that we did, these would be a good pair to purchase together. You can put this one inside the house and the other one you could leave on your door. It's really nice for those that like a more rustic look to their decor. Okay, I have one long one, so I'll get another set. Pull these apart just like that. Separate the 2. I just find using my bigger cutters works better to get through that. Okay, so here's our second set. So you could do this with any type of greenery. You could do it with the Noble. You could do it with white pine. Like I said, you could do it with real Christmas greenery. And then just be careful sometimes how your greenery lays. Like sometimes, like this one's got a wicked curve in it. So just make sure you get your curve out. Those are all still smalls. Small, smalls. Okay. We'll separate another one. Separate. There's a small. Here's our other large. And I'm going to flip this over so it lays more flat. It's nice when you have everything all pre-cut together, but I did want to show you how to break down your greenery. And then just cut everything short because we don't need those long pieces on our pines anymore. We can take them all the way down. Oop. Less to clean up later. Okay, these will go in here. 2 more in that section, and then row 10 will be done. I'm going to mix this with a darker green. So I have some dark green. So I'm going to put some of this in. Whoop. Here's that center one. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of darker green here. I have a couple pieces of that. Okay. Here's that one. Trim it down. Remove our brown paper so we can get the last 2 in. I don't know what our neighbor's doing. My husband says he's welding something. Okay. Again, just make sure you're happy with the coverage. Remember, you can always come back into if you wanted to. Like you could take a long piece here. You could come in with your hot glue. If you had a gap and you just want to add some additional, you definitely can do that. I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking right here. Now I need to look and see, do I want to, and I think I'm going to continue what I've been doing up to row 6. I'm still going to allow them to double, like so. Let's look. Because now we're getting in with fewer zip ties. There's fewer per section here. Like in here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you do the in between, you have quite a bit. Let's bring in another dark. This other one. And let's see what ends up happening. If we need to go back in, we can always go back in and thicken that up. As we get closer to the top, I'm okay because we're going to be doing smaller, thinner layers. Okay. Bottom, middle, top. Okay, so I've got one here. Got 2 here. Let's go ahead and put those in. Nice side by side. Have you guys ever made one of these before using the Unique in the Creek board? Like I said, I've only done it once, and that's when I actually did it with artificial like balsam and pine and cedar. I put them all together, and then I've done some real versions. So we're seeing how thick. Now remember, these ones are going to be laying directly over, so I think I'm okay with how those are coming in. These are still short. We'll be using those from the top up. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Save your little pieces, because you never know when you might need just a little one. So break them down one more. They break down pretty easy. And let's go with a dark one. We'll go ahead and put these ones in. There's that one. So you've got the little darker colors. Trying to make sure I have all my pieces and that they lay the way I want them to. Oop. Sometimes just cutting that end off just makes it work so much better. I got a short one. Let's do one more long. Looks like I'm gonna need 2 more longs before we can come in with all the shorts that I've these are all short. So these are all gonna go in as we build our layers up top. So it should be one last pick to break apart. Should be. There's a shorty. The fresh one did smell awesome. It lasts, believe it or not, GD, if they took care of it really well, which is all they had to do was once a week, just take it off the door and like either soak it, like do a quick dunk in a bucket, or they could take a hose and hose the whole thing off. That's all it needed. And I think I did them for my parents when I first moved in because I wanted to give them like, hey, here's a little taste of like where we're at. So I made them for them, and they lasted a long time, a really long time. So I was pretty amazed. They were my sample clients. I'm like, I need to see how long these are going to last. Okay, let's take one of these little ones. I'm going to kind of bump it in here to get a trio, just so that I have a little bit more right in here. Okay, so as I come up to row 5, I have every single hole plus shared. Okay, you can see it's not making it really super thick at the bottom. It's still laying nice and flat. So I think with these ones, let's see, we might end up doing 3 in every hole. So let's try this. Let's get rid of that little end because I really want good coverage. So I'm liking the way that looks with the 3 because it's still fanning them out. There's that. So I'm doing 3 from hole 5 up because they're really short. Side by side. Got to get this one on its right side. Okay, there's my 3. One, 2, 3. Trying to get that one down nice and tight. Okay, 1, 2. Got to cut this one down. 3. I think this one's going to be a little complicated because I sucked the other pipe cleaner in, or zip tie. Okay, so I'm going to turn this so you can see. So it's easier this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, flat. Whoops. Trying to get this one so it'll come down nice and tight. They don't like to share holes. So 1, 2, 3. So we got good coverage on the outside, still nothing. I might come in with some other ones and just kind of fill because it feels like there's a step here, just because we went from short to long. So I have a couple medium pieces. So same thing. Up here, I'm doing 4 in the outside holes because they just have a long way to reach to cover that side. So here's another long, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's put 4 in. I don't have that many more holes left. So I'm already on row 4. So 1, 2, 3. I've got another one over here. So 1, 2. I was like, where's the other pick? It feels so amazing too. It feels so lifelike. That's the nice thing about that Norfolk pine is it's got well, they call it a real touch. And then the outside, again, I'm going to grab these over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right to this outside. Okay. Keep working up. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm going to do 4. 4 up here. Because even though it's, you know, I'm not putting, we're doing less holes, I'm doing more so that we have good coverage. Got another one over here. I'm going to break one of these down so we have a little bit of dark. 1, Here's my shared hole. And here's your fourth one. I don't think you really want to go like too thin. Now when you're doing them this way and you just have all those long pieces, you can actually cut them down into halves. Like I can do this one, give it a long stem. So there's one. Take this one off. There's two. There's three. And now there's four. I can bring those four up. Okay. There's that one. There's always the little one in here. Okay, so these ones we're going to split. There's one. There's two. 1, 2, 3. And let's cut that off. Tuck them up. Just like so. And I like even using some of the imperfect branches, like things that are just, you know, it's got a little curl in it. Because not every single tree in real life is perfect. They all have their little individual quirks. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I need one more. Let's grab this one. Since it's going on the outside edge, because we want it to be full. Okay, let's get rid of this. What do you guys think so far? Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to come in here. I might come back in and do that middle row just because it went from going long pieces to short pieces. So I might just come in and add some long pieces to that to break up that. It's like a haircut where you have, you know, here's where we started using the shorter pieces and here's the long ones. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to start adding in some branches so that they are kind of like the in-between stage. So let's keep going so we can finish up and then we'll come back and fill in that gap. Okay, so there's that. Oops. That. Separate. Trying to get all the paper off, but saving all the little pieces. And it's good if you can stagger the heights on some, you know, put a couple long pieces, couple short pieces when you're doing that mid-range. So you can have that staggered length. I'm just going in the inside and kind of doing the same thing. So I'll take like this, plus this, plus this. Where'd you go? Right here. Again, 4 pieces. Because man, when we get up to the top, there's only like 3. So we're going to have to get really creative on what we want to do. 1, 2, 3. Where'd you go? There's supposed to be another one in here. Now there's 4. There's that one. So go ahead and trim this down. There's 1, 2. Let's get rid of this paper. I've got 1, 2, 3. I need another one. Let's take this and put it in here. I'll put that one, the longer piece, to the outside. Okay, we've got our top 3 left. That should fill the board. So let's see, there's 1, there's 2. Just trying to get rid of all these little pieces. See, these ones will be nice because I think as I get up towards the top, I'm still going to keep my bow, but I'm going to probably use these because even though we bring these up, you know, you need to cover the top, but we don't want to go too far. So obviously I'm bringing them all the way up, but then I'm going to use these pieces here, and they're going to go over the zip ties to hide the zip ties at the top. So let's split again. Okay. There's that. See, save everything. You never know when you're going to need it. Okay. What did I say? We have 2. Okay. So I'm going to let 2 go high. Trying to get them in. I'm just doing like a couple all the way to the top. I don't want all 4 of them up there. This is where we're going to get really creative, like when we did the grapevine and we hide the part. Let's make sure though that our zip tie is facing inside as far as we possibly can. Take a couple of these out. Just bringing these in. Here's that one. This one. Again, bringing it up. My goal will be, let's get that zip tie all the way over. Just like that. Still bringing them up top. Still leaving my hole so we can add our bow up there. Because that's the bow hole. Okay. There's those. And now we'll trim these up. So I'm going kind of thick because we need to cover. And I want to take my zip tie and get it all the way to the inside center. Just like that. And I know that, that looks like a mess, but that's okay because we have all these. We're going to be using these to help cover our ends, just like so. That's what it's going to do. All those little pieces. Get really creative on how we can stack them to finish the top. But what I want to do is right here, like I said, I'm sensing there's a discrepancy in here. So I'm going to just add in some individual pieces and try to get rid of this layer to this layer. So I'm going to bring in a couple and just stagger the amounts. So this will be done with my glue skillet. So I'm dipping these in, lifting my branches up, and I'm going to come straight on the inside and push those to the middle because we're going to get rid of the different depths. Oops. Okay. This way, it'll kind of break that up a bit. So we won't have the stair step and the bad haircut thing. At some point, you're going to have to, you know, make a decision, because you have really long branches and then some shorter ones. So obviously you would think, well, I'm going to save my shorter ones for as I get up closer to the top. Remember, these all bend down, so I'm bending them towards our wreath. They just want to slide all the way around. I'm trying to narrow them out. So I'm like bringing in some short pieces, some long pieces. Kind of come over here. And they just kind of slide right up in there. It's kind of nice. And just give it some varying depths. Okay. Got one more. So I'm going to separate this one because there's no sense in keeping it just for one. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just keep stair stepping. And it's nice because then it gets rid of that part. Okay, we'll come over here. Do the same thing. Our whole goal is going to be like, I don't want to see the part. So even coming in and just adding some shorter pieces. There's another long. Just varying lengths. So you have some long, some shorts. Take this one right down the center. Just like there. I'm looking to make sure I don't have any oddballs. Okay. There we go. And then the last thing I'm going to do is come in with some different color and just kind of blend that all the way in. There we go. So I'm going to take two of these that are the darker and lighter mix. I've been blending them in. There's a couple pieces here and there, but I'm going to blend even more. And then the greenery part will be done. Okay, so there's that one. Let's pull this apart. Is there just one here? Looks like it. Well, I don't want to pick that big. Okay, so I have a couple like here, here, here. I have a couple up in here. I'm going to bring some down in here. Just different colors. So we have a little bit of light and dark green. Whoop. I'll bring this one up right in here. right in the center. So you can kind of see, like I'm seeing it in the camera angle, so you can see the lights and the darks. And just kind of mix them, like don't keep them all in the same row, just kind of mix and match up and down. I'll take some down here. So we have a couple darker pieces at the bottom. And let me get a couple light pieces, or the darker ones, up in here. And then I will be done. So the only way that I can do it in here is the same way we did. Just kind of come in and shorten them up. And kind of tuck them in. So I'm just taking like one piece, breaking it into two separate picks. Just coming up a little high. In there. And I will probably bring right there. Probably do this one right in the center. There we go. So there is my design. I'm just thickening up the outsides right here on this side. For some reason it just feels a little thin. So I'm just going to come in and thicken up this outside edge. Just lift some stuff up and out. Okay, bring that one up. Oh, so pretty. There is our Nordic pine evergreen. I've got one piece left. Let's find a way we can squeeze this in. Let's bring it up here. We'll bring that one up. It feels so nice. And here's a great thing too. It's perfect for being outside. This will hold up so well in the outside because it's got that rubberized coating, so the water is just gonna run right off of here. Okay, just for me, so I know where my pipe cleaner entrance is, because I kind of want to cover this, but I also want to make sure that I can get my bow in there. So I am just going to do this, just so I know that this is where my bow opening is going to be. And now I'm going to kind of cover these. I'm just going to cover my pipe cleaners with those the little ends. Again, varying, like how high up they come, how low they are. Using every little piece that we can. take this one right to the outside. Let's break this down. Let's split it. I'm just covering my zip ties so that you can't see. And I'm going to do the outside edge so we don't see the edge of the board right here. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Oh, it's crazy. I can't believe I threw all these little pieces away. I'm like, these are exactly what you need to kind of cover the edges of your board so that you can't see. Just like that. So I covered our part. So now we're all good. So options, right? We're going to make a bow. This is all this is really going to get for it, is just a bow at the top to keep it kind of natural looking. You could, for options, Hobby Lobby has these, and I just had a few of them left. Let me show you. So you could kind of come in with these. These are all on a tie, because they're meant to go on the little trees. But you could, if you wanted to, you could come in, you could decorate all the way through. Obviously, you would hide it much better than what I'm doing right now, but there is these as an option. You could come in with these. There's like the last two. Let's switch them. You could kind of come in with these and then make them swag. But there's an option you have if you wanted to decorate it with those. Like I said, they're at Hobby Lobby. They're in the miniature section. And they're just little light bulbs on gold. You could come in and you could add pine cones if you wanted to keep it very rustic. You could just kind of come in and you could add pine cones, you know, here and there, all the way through your design. Obviously, you do the smaller ones at the top, graduating to the bigger ones at the bottom, like these. You could come in and just add pine cones. That's an option. I don't know what I have, like, I don't know if I want to do the pine cones. I want to do the bow and then decide if I want to add pine cones. Because once you put the pine cones on there, you're stuck with the pine cones. So what do you guys think? The Unique in the Creek horse board. I haven't done anything with it. I know that there's quite a few wreath makers who that is their area of specialty, doing them that way. Trying to think. I'd have to get all the stuff out of the trash when I was throwing them out of the trash, because I had some left over from yesterday. Wow, 1, 2, 3. I did not use any of my green sprays. Those were left over from yesterday's 12. And then I used, I think 10 branches, 10 or 15 of the bigger branches that had the more picks in it, like the darker green I only used, I'm trying to think, I only used 3. But we could do these too. I would just get a little bit more picky about what type of pine cones. But there's that. What do you guys think? First I thought leave it plain with a bow, and now you're looking at the pine cones and thinking, oh, those are kind of cute, huh? Right? That was my thinking too. It's like I thought for sure I wouldn't like it, and then I'm like, oh, pine cones. Not really sure. So, what you could do is take a picture of it one way or the other, and you can ask your social media followers and say, do you like it with pine cones, or do you like it plain? Because there will probably be, and it'll probably be a 50-50 mix. There'll probably be some people who say, ooh, I like it with the pine cones. I have some medium-sized ones. Yeah, I do. So those are the small, and then they make bigger ones. Like much bigger ones. So if you wanted to come in. Hobby Lobby for the win on both of those, by the way. Okay, let's do the bow. So the bow could be one of 2 different ways. You could do just a plain red bow. You can pair this with your other Nordic pine design that we did yesterday. That could become a collection item. I wanted to do this one just in a regular, kind of like this. I wanted it a lot more natural. So that was my goal, because then it could be Christmas/winter. So I'm going to dovetail the ends. So wired edges together. Going to cut from the fold to the wired point. And I'm thinking that right about there is a good bow length. Like right there. Let me move these off. Let me move my pine cones off at the top. Like that would be cute. Like I'm going to just do a visual. I'm going to do a visual hand tied just to see like, hey, is our sizing, is it good or not? And I'm kind of thinking, look for the size. I'm kind of liking that. And then we could put our pine cone in. Okay, so let me show you how to make it. It's basically the same hand-tied bow. So let me just measure. It is 9 inches for the bow, the tail length. And I'm going to go 4 inches, I think. Let's go 4. Let's see what 4 looks like. Ooh, that's 5. Let's go 5, 4, 3. So let's do that. We'll do 2 at 5. So I'm just bringing it on my bow dabber and stretching it out. There's 5. Yeah, it is 5. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's 5. And then I'm going to go 2 at 4. So right there, that's like 4 1/4. I'm just like eyeballing how the loops sit on top of the other loops. Yep, 4 1/4. And I'm going to do 2 at 3 1/2. Okay, there's 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Let's see. Are we there? 3 1/2. And then this one has to go up to 9. Alright. And this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if Hobby Lobby has this one this year. I'm all about winter versus Christmas decorations, even with lights. I like it too. So I'm like you. I like keeping Christmas up longer, but I sometimes don't feel like I want the Christmas vibe up all the time. You know? Okay. Oops. Here's this one. Let's get a pipe cleaner. I'll probably put it right in here, but I want to fix the center. I don't want to see the pipe cleaner. So we're going to do the little cheat. So here's this, right? Let's go ahead and fix that center. So I'm just going to use a little piece of our ribbon. I'm going to fold it over and fold it over. And right here in the back is where it's going to end. But I'm going to go right over the top. Okay. And I'm going to cut this down. I'm actually going to glue this one. So I'm going to glue this down right over the center. That's going to go that direction. I'm going to bring this up, trim that down, go right over the top. And that way it's got a nice, cool look so that we don't see our pipe cleaner. Just like that. And that's going to go right on the top. Oh, that's going to look so pretty. So, knowing where this is, I can actually get that right inside. So I'm going to go right inside. Right inside. I'm looking at it. Where do I want it to sit, though? Let me look. I might want to take it down. Just one. I'm looking for an available hole. I might need to fix these. Because I don't want to go up in the very top hole. I did such a good job at camouflaging them. There we go. Perfect. Because I didn't want it to come out over the top. Let's go ahead and push that in. Center that. I gotta get it down. There we go. Nice and tight. And then I can go ahead and fix my edges on my board. Okay, so this will come down. That'll come down. Let me go ahead and fix my one edge that I kind of pulled apart. Okay, there we go. Because I don't want you to see the board. I'm all about the hiding. Like, let's hide the features. Open those. I'm going to do the longer ones at the bottom so that they can swoop down. Make sure we get full range of our bow. Look how pretty that is. Just like so. And then we can bring these so they can fall away. So let me take the pine cones off, because if I go to just put it on the door, they're all going to fall to the floor. So let me take this one. Take all these off. Even if you wanted to, like if you were adding the pine cones to your design, then you could always come up to at the top and put your pine cone right in the center of your bow. But we're opting for no pine cones right now. I'm going to pivot you up. Ta-da! Make sure that falls. Okay, so we're going to take this one off. This is the one we made on Tuesday. And if you wanted to, like I said, you can make a bow that matches that. So I've got my hanger in the very, very, very back. So it'll sit up higher on my door. So, take all these off. And the only reason mine is sticking out is because I have my nail up high. If I didn't have my nail there, it would lay a little bit more flush to the end. But then you can take these, because they're all bendable, so you can take them and fluff them in whichever way you would like. Just like so. There is your evergreen. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. Whoop, right there. That is your evergreen look. If you wanted it just for winter, that is that look. If you wanted to, I'm going to really quick, while we're here, I'm going to do a really quick red bow to match what we just did this weekend, or on Tuesday. I don't know why I think it's the weekend. So I've got all my measurements. Let me just whip this through really quick and give you either or look. Like I said, you could come in, you could do, because I just have the ribbon sitting here. So I'm going to do a really quick bow and then show you that with both looks. So if you wanted something a little bit more Christmassy, you wanted something red, and you could even, while you're building it, you could give your customer the choice, red, green. They can even opt for both, you know, and have one that could be, for me, it would be year round, because like I said, we live up here in the mountains, so having an everyday bow like that, I could keep this wreath up all year round. Yeah, I'm not limited to it in any way. Okay, so let's go. I'm just about finished with this one. I'll do my dovetail, and then I'll hide the center. And then, let's see, I think to use our red, because we don't have burgundy. Okay. Let me hide the ribbon. The pipe cleaner, sorry. So let me just do this one really quick. Let me do red glue. There's that one. Just trying to make sure we got a good grip on there. And let's pull this up. Okay, I can fluff it right here. So I'm just fluffing, because I was able to pull that one out really quick. Down, up, over, 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 down. So it could be like that, or we could go, I'll show you. I'll have to take a picture with both. decor. This should be fairly simple since I know where the holes are now. Oh, had to turn it. It would help if I actually untwisted it one more time so I could pull the bow off. I didn't have it all the way off. Oops. And I'm able to get this one on so much easier now because I know how we're doing it. Oop. Let me spin this around. Needed to get my pipe cleaner twisted right. Okay, let's fluff the bow. Okay. So then if you wanted it more red or cranberry looking, you could go with this look. Ooh. And that is your other option. So we could go with red or cranberry, or we could go with the other. I'm curious with you guys, which do you prefer? The green or the red? Yes, it is raining up here, Vera. Up in Seattle, it's sunny. Yeah, so it is raining here. Wasn't supposed to. I just look at it and go, hey man, if God says yes, we'll have rain, whether the weatherman says or not. So what do you guys like? Christmas tree? So green bow or red bow? Which is your preferred? Red? Marisol likes red. Like looking at it. Okay. Red. How many of you vote red? How many of you vote green? I had to fix the bow. It's driving me crazy. I think red. Okay. Well, red is what I showed you a photo of. So, 2 looks. Red, red. Okay, I guess. And I would include this bow that the customer could take out if they wanted something a little bit more year-round. So I just throw that in. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for joining me. And I will talk to you guys all next week. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.